There is a voice you have been missing, not because it went silent, not because it left, but because everything around you got so loud that you stopped being able to hear it. And maybe that is where you are right now. Somewhere between the noise and the numbness, somewhere between the schedule and the searching, wondering why you feel like something is just off. Like there is a word meant for you that keeps getting interrupted. Like there is a door that keeps almost opening. And then the phone buzzes, or the thought shifts, or sleep finally pulls you under before anything real gets to land. This is for you. This is for the person who has been running on motion while their soul has been standing still, waiting. Because here is what nobody really tells you about the way God speaks. He is not always loud. He is not always dramatic. He does not always come in with thunder or signs or a voice that splits the ceiling open. Sometimes, most times, he comes in the quiet, in the pause between the inhale and the exhale, in the 3 seconds before you reach for your phone first thing in the morning, in the moment after you close your eyes and before the to-do list starts narrating your rest, in the stillness you keep skipping because the stillness feels like doing nothing, but it is not nothing. It never was. Stillness is where he waits. And if you have been wondering why it feels like God has been quiet in your life, I want to gently ask you something. When was the last time you were actually still? Not tired, not distracted, not scrolling in bed because your brain won't stop. Still, intentionally, quietly, openly still. Because the truth is, most of us have not been still in a very long time. We have confused busyness with faithfulness. We have confused productivity with proximity to God. We have told ourselves that as long as we are doing good things, moving toward good goals, checking off good boxes, we are close enough, and maybe we are close in behavior, but not always close in presence. There is a difference between living a life that looks devoted and living a life that is actually connected. And the connection happens in the quiet. That is where the depth lives. That is where the real things get said. You know this in your human relationships too. Think about the people you feel most understood by. It is rarely the ones who talked at you. It is the ones who sat with you, the ones who were quiet enough to actually hear you, who created space for something real to come through. God is not different. He wants that kind of relationship with you. Not the surface version, not the quick prayer before the meal or the rushed worship on Sunday morning that you are already mentally somewhere else during. He wants the sit with me version, the stay a little longer version, the I have something to say to you but you keep leaving version. And he will not force it. That is the thing about the way he loves. He will not chase you down and shake the stillness into you. He will invite. He will prepare the space. He will be faithful and present and patient. But you have to come. You have to stop. You have to let the noise fall away long enough to hear what has already been waiting for you. And I know that is harder than it sounds. I know that stillness can actually feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you have spent a long time running. Especially if the quiet has historically felt less like peace and more like a place where all the things you have been avoiding catch up with you. That is real, and it is worth naming. Because sometimes we do not choose noise because we love it. We choose noise because the silence feels like a room we are afraid to walk into. And somewhere along the way, we decided that movement was safer than presence. That activity was easier than honesty. That filling the space was better than facing whatever might be in it. But here is the thing about that room. The one you have been standing outside of, the one that feels too quiet, too exposed, too much. He is already in it. He has been in it, and everything you are afraid to find in the silence, he already knows about. The grief you have not fully processed, the question you stopped asking because it felt too big, the disappointment you buried under a smile and a "I'm fine," the longing you have convinced yourself is not worth bringing to him. He knows. He has been sitting with it. He has been sitting with you. Even in the rooms you refuse to enter. And he is not waiting there to confront you. He is waiting there to meet you. There is a difference. A confrontation pushes you back. A meeting pulls you in. What he has in the silence for you is not condemnation. It is conversation. It is the kind of conversation that changes things, that realigns things, that sets things in order that have been slightly off for longer than you have even realized. And you will only get there if you stop. If you actually, genuinely, intentionally stop. So let me ask you something. What would it look like to give him 10 minutes today? Not a full hour, not a spiritual retreat, not a version of you that has everything figured out and the perfect posture of prayer. Just 10 minutes. No agenda, no list, no asking for anything. Just presence. Just showing up to the quiet and saying, I am here. I am listening. Say what you need to say. That is enough. That is actually more than enough. Because he does not need you to be polished to speak to you. He does not need you to have the right words or the right mood or the right level of faith. He needs you to show up. That is the whole requirement. Show up and be quiet enough to receive. And what happens in that space is different for everyone. Some people feel something shift. Some people feel nothing at first, but come back the next day and feel everything. Some people sit in stillness and cry without knowing why, and then realize later that something had been carrying them down for a long time and they finally just set it down. Some people hear a word, not audibly, but somewhere deeper than audible, that answers something they stopped asking. Some people feel a peace that makes no logical sense given the circumstances they walked in with. All of it is real. All of it is him. And all of it begins with the same thing, the choice to be still. Now, I want to talk to the ones who have been still and who have found the silence hard, because this is not always soft and warm and easy. Sometimes you sit in the quiet and you just feel empty. Sometimes you show up and nothing seems to come through, and that can feel like abandonment. It can feel like you are doing something wrong. Like everyone else gets some beautiful experience in prayer and you are just sitting there with your thoughts and a ceiling. I need you to hear this. The silence is not rejection. A quiet season is not an absent God. Sometimes the stillness itself is the message. Sometimes what he is teaching you in the silence is not a word. It is the capacity to trust him when you cannot hear him. It is the deepening of a faith that does not depend on constant confirmation. It is the formation of something in you that cannot be built any other way. And that is not a punishment. It is a process. It is an invitation into a more mature relationship with him. One where you are not just there for what he gives you, but just because he is. Just because being near him matters more than getting an answer. That is a level of trust most of us spend years growing into. And it starts in the silence. It starts in the willingness to sit with him even when he feels far, even when the room feels empty, even when you cannot feel the thing you came looking for. You come anyway. You stay anyway. Because something in you knows, something in you has always known, that he is worth the quiet, that the relationship is worth more than the feeling, that the one who holds everything can be trusted in the moments when he does not hand you everything you asked for in the time you asked for it. Let's stay here for a moment, because I think there is something about this that needs to settle. We live in a world that has trained us to expect instant response. We send a message and we look for the 3 dots. We ask a question and we reach for our phones before the thought is even fully formed. We have built lives around the assumption that if something is real, if someone really cares, they respond immediately. And then we bring that same framework into our relationship with God. And we wonder why the silence feels like indifference. But what if the silence is actually intimacy? What if the very nature of what he is building in you requires a pace that the noise of your life simply cannot accommodate? What if the answer is coming, but it cannot come through the chaos? What if he is waiting for you to create the kind of internal stillness that can actually hold what he wants to give you? Because some things cannot be received at full speed. Some things break if you try to catch them while you are running. Some words, some truths, some shifts in perspective. They require a stillness of the soul that goes deeper than just sitting down. And that kind of stillness is cultivated. It does not come naturally, not for most of us. It is something you practice, something you return to again and again until it stops feeling foreign, until the quiet feels less like deprivation and more like home. And I want to encourage you to start that practice, not perfectly, not with a plan, just with a willingness to be more available than you have been, more present, more quiet, more open, to let the stillness do what it is designed to do, which is not nothing. Stillness strips away the things that have been covering the real conversation. It removes the layers of performance and productivity and noise. And what is left is just you and him. And that is where everything real happens. That is where the healing moves. That is where the clarity comes. That is where the direction you have been asking for finally has room to arrive. You have been asking for guidance. You have been asking for clarity. You have been asking for peace. And I believe with everything in me that what you are asking for is available to you. But it lives on the other side of the noise. It lives in the place you keep passing by. It lives in the stillness. And he has been asking you, gently, faithfully, without pressure, to come find it. So come. You do not need to have it together. You do not need to be in the right emotional state. You do not need to understand everything, or believe everything, or feel everything perfectly. You just need to come, sit down somewhere quiet, Put the phone face down. Close the tabs, the loops, the lists. And just be there, because he is already there. He has been there. And he has things to say to you that will not fit in the noise. Things that are specifically for you. Not for someone else's timeline, not for someone else's story. For yours. For this season. For this version of you. For exactly what you are carrying right now. He knows what you need. He always has. And he is not withholding it to be cruel or to test you or to make you earn it. He is simply waiting for the moment when you are quiet enough to receive it. That moment can be now. It can be today. It can be the next 5 minutes if you are willing. All it requires is stillness. All it requires is you. So today, if nothing else, give yourself permission to stop. To sit in the quiet without filling it. To resist the urge to reach for something to do, something to check, something to scroll. And just listen. Not for a lightning bolt. Not for a miracle. Just for the quiet, steady, faithful voice that has been speaking to you all along. The one that loves you too much to shout over the noise you are choosing. The one that is patient enough to wait until you are ready. The one that will be there the moment you are still enough to hear. He is speaking. He has always been speaking. You just have to be willing to listen. And if this is something you want to keep returning to, if you want more of this kind of content to help you slow down, go deeper, and stay connected, subscribe so you never miss what comes next. Every piece of content here is built for the person who is done with the surface and ready for something real. That is you, and we will see you in the next one.